take a drink?
Oh,
Can I take a drink?
didn't like that one. What's up, buds? Welcome to another episode of the Earbuds Podcast. This is a podcast where two buds talk about one good album for a good amount of time. I, as always, am Ash with the good fucking hair. Joined with me is Lucas with the good fucking hat and Dracobs.
It's your boy.
We got an album today, Lucas, that you brought on.
Fucking right I did.
It is 22 songs, and it is 38 minutes, and it was made in the year 2000, and it is the fifth album by the first band named...
Rancid.
Yes, sir.
And back in my day, it was called Rancid 2000, but I guess now they call it Rancid 5. So
is that... What's your preferred name?
Rancid 2000 sounds way fucking cooler.
It sounds so fucking lame.
It's not even close. Not even close. But yeah, man, I brought this to the podcast mostly because I used to really not like this record at all. In high school, like, I got into punk probably 2001 with fucking, probably not even punk really. Like, I got into New Found Glory and Midtown.
Sure.
But then some of the real shit, like No Effects and Bad Religion and all that. And Rancid was huge to me. When I heard Ruby Soho the first time, I was like, done. Like, this is what I'm all about. Like, I wanted to buy Tim Armstrong's fucking guitar. Like, man, I was so into them. And then, but this album, like, obviously, Ruby Soho came out in 94 and Out Come the Wolves. So, like, I heard it fucking 7 years after it came out. So I got to go back into their discography and be like, dude, like, I love that when I discover a new band that has this, like, already has, like, 5 CDs. And I'm like, oh, fuck yes, dude. Like, now I get to dive deep into them. I started going through all of their discography, and I loved all of it until I got to Rancid 2000. And it's just, like, was not for me, man. And I haven't listened to it since. So, like, 20 years later, I'm like, you know what? I'm into a lot of different types of music now. I'm into, like, hardcore punk and, like, really fucking nasty, gritty, shittily played punk. And that, not to say that that's what this is, but I'm like, I can get into, like, some really, like, gnarly stuff now. And then I'm like, I should give this album a chance again.
You've been kind of touching on people from, like, Pantera to Municipal Waste.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is something you could get into. You said you've been kind of wanting to give this album a second chance for, like, the last 15 years.
Dude, literally I haven't listened to it since 2001 or 2002.
21 years. Well, I'm excited to hear what your kind of second chance on it is. And you're excited to hear my first listen of it.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you listened to it more than once, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Yes. Which was well needed.
Yeah, for sure, dude, for sure. Like, and I know that automatically this isn't, like, for the most part, this album is just not our fucking brand of punk that me and you like. Right?
I mean, yeah, it's from the first song, I was excited. I was like,
Don Giovanni's a great opener.
I like this. I like how they transitioned into that second song.
Mm-hmm.
I love this blast beat type of feel. It was kind of reminiscent of stuff Burn Band was trying to do, I think.
For sure.
But then my first listen, every song, it got a little old and it got a little repetitive.
For sure.
I almost kind of, I was nearly ready to give up on it on my first listen, but every successive listen, I realized, well, that's not fair. Every song is doing something a little different, and they are trying to keep it a little bit fresh.
Yeah, for sure. Like, I had a kind of a feeling going into this conversation because me and you were talking the other day, and I mentioned, like, all right, man, well, I'm ready to, record this, coming up. Like, I'm excited to talk about it. And you're just like, oh boy, yeah. We'll get into that. And I was just like, oh shit. I'm like, that did not sound promising at all. But I totally agree too. Like, it's man, that first time listening to it again, I was like, see, I knew it. I didn't fucking like this. I knew I hated this album. I'm like, why did I bring this to the show? Like, why did I even bring this up? And then every time after that, I started liking it more and more. And I ended up like actually really liking this fucking album. Like, this is by far Rancid's most hardcore album, I think, in their discography.
At least that I've heard.
At least that I've heard too. But I think overall, it's like definitely their fastest stuff, definitely their heaviest stuff, like most aggressive stuff, and then also their most consistent album in terms of like the sound that they were going for.
Yeah, I mean, consistency is the name of the game on this album.
Yeah, tons of minute and a half long songs, like in and out.
They do change it up every once in a while.
Yeah.
Right? Like there were a couple like songs that were a little kind of older Rancid, like It's Quite Alright, if I remember correctly.
It's Quite Alright, Let Me Go.
That was something off, Out Came the Wolves.
Yep. Let Me Go is very kind of same era.
I think Antennas was kind of an interesting. They were trying to do something a little different on that. They even had someone. I don't know who sang Black Derby Jacket or.
Oh, dude, that's Matt Freeman. That's the bassist.
Okay,
yeah.
So I think he sang 2 songs on this record.
Yes, yeah.
His voice is kind of hard to get used to. I'll be honest.
It's very unique, but I for the longest time thought that it was the singer of Dropkick Murphys doing like a guest vocal spot. You ever listen to Dropkick?
Yeah, I listen to Dropkick. There's no fucking way.
No, I mean, I thought for like the first few listen throughs, I was just like, dude, that has to be, what's the guy's name, man? I'm like, that has to be fucking Ken Casey from Dropkick Murphys. I'm like, that has to be him. And then I looked it up. I was like, oh shit, it's Matt Freeman. And then I thought, like, what other songs has he sung? And then he ends up singing like 3 songs or something on this record.
Yeah, I wonder if it's his first time taking the lead.
It stood out like a sore thumb. I'm like, that is not Lars. That is not Tim Armstrong. I'm like, there's no fucking way. And I mean, like, again, man, I'm not a huge fan of like this more hardcore subgenre of punk, but because they mix in a little bit of the poppier, kind of more catchy Rancid stuff in there, like you mentioned, Antennas, like Radio Havana,
yeah,
for sure. Like Let Me Go, it kind of softened the blow a little bit of the stuff that I just hated so much 20 years ago, that going back to it, I'm just like, oh, like Rwanda, and like you said, It's Quite Alright. I'm just like, these, the 1 minute like super aggressive songs, it's such a, I love the blend of the two, like where they can just kind of mix in a few of the poppy things and the album still feels like super on point, and like what they're going for, and they fucking pulled it off.
Yeah. I would say, we reviewed Marcus King's latest album, Youngblood.
Yeah.
A little bit ago. Check it out if you'd like. But I think
click it.
Kind of the consensus of that album, kind of the summary is that if you're into blues, you're gonna like that album.
Yes.
I think it might be the same thing here.
You know?
I think if you like punk, you're definitely going to appreciate the subtle differences between songs. You're going to be able to separate them a lot easier in your mind than someone who's not experienced with punk, and especially like the hardcore side of things.
Yeah, like even some of the faster songs, like Poison and Dead Bodies and stuff, like goddamn, like there are some really good. Some of these songs do feel like throwaways, like Disgruntled and Low Key, and
a little bit, yeah, sure.
Like,
there are 22 songs on here.
Yeah, John Brown, like some of that stuff. Rigged on a Fix was by far my least favorite song on the record. I couldn't stand that one, and I think that was another Matt Freeman song. But yeah, man, I don't think it's funny because I like a lot of the faster songs on here. Yes, going back to it now, but it does kind of sound like Tim Armstrong like can't keep up with how fast they're going at times, like with his vocals. He just has that such slurred delivery.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I mean, he's probably just fucking sloshed
Oh,
time they're
man.
in the studio.
I wonder, dude. I don't know when he got clean or if he ever did get clean, but there are moments where I'm just like, he's just trying it just sounds like he's trying really hard to keep up with the music, and I'm just like, oh, it kind of like takes it away a little bit from, when you can hear one of the musicians struggling, or that's just his fucking style, like, because it is just his style of singing. So he's just like, I'm just gonna fucking I'm gonna Jack Sparrow my way through this fucking song.
I mean, like, I thought it was endearing. I don't think it took away from my experience at all.
No, not at all, but I definitely would say that Lars has a better vocal style for these types of songs.
For like the faster, kind of got to keep up songs. And maybe it's just the way he writes lyrics too, that he didn't quite get ready for this kind of music. But
what do you mean?
I don't know. I didn't read any of the lyrics on this album.
Oh, no? Jesus Christ. You do for, like, every other record.
I do it for every record, but there's 22 songs, and it's like...
Yeah, and there's, like...
I don't know. It's just fucking punk
There's,
music.
like, 32 words per song. Like, you can't read eight stanzas.
I pictured it, like, the best way that this album, like, the best way I'm gonna listen to this album is if I go to a bar and some band is playing these songs on stage, and I don't know the fucking words they're saying on stage,
Black Hawk down, Black Hawk down, Black Hawk down below. Like, I mean, you can kind of, weirdly enough, we talk about how slurred Tim Armstrong's speech can be, but I pretty much understand everything he's saying. I didn't need to read along with the lyrics, although I did, because I'm a fucking professional. But
okay,
I'm
fucking 100 episodes.
I'm an amateur.
One time.
Yeah, exactly. I'm an amateur professional now. And but you're right though. Like, Lars's lyrics also kind of lended really well to like the hardcore, faster stuff too. But I gotta say, man, I think Lars's lyrics were a lot more kind of imagery and just trying to think of cool, tough things to say, kind of. I think, I think Tim's songs covered a lot of really cool topics that I thought were just perfect for punk music too. And I really liked his lyrics for the most part on this album. Like, you didn't follow along maybe, but there's a lot of stuff about like commercialism and religion and like world issues and corruption and materialism, like throughout the whole record, that I really liked it. Like, what's the song that he's like, let California fall into the fucking ocean? Like, which one's that one? Antennas. It's one that we've already mentioned.
Antennas, yeah, that seemed like a time for him to get a little more, I don't know, there was a lot more vocal focus on that
song.
Just because there were a lot of times the instruments kind of sauntered out a little bit, gave them little room.
I think so. Also, like on, I think it's Rwanda. Yeah, like that chorus is really like, like they kind of ring it out a little bit, and it's super, super catchy. That Lars part, like, like, dude, I gotta give it. We talk about the rawness and how fucking hardcore some of the songs are, and how clear everything is that you're hearing. Like, yeah, major props to Brett Gurewitz, the dude who produced this album. Who, I don't know if you know, but he's in Bad Religion as well, or I think he was in Bad Religion for a long time.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and he engineered and produced all of Rancid's records before this one, except one of them, or I think he engineered and produced their first two records, like major label records, and then I don't know if major label. I don't know. I'm fucking high, but you know what I mean. Like, their first two big ones. I know what you mean. He produced, and then I think he only became an engineer after that for a few records, and this is his return to being a producer and engineer, and it fucking sounds so good.
It's clear, but it's not squeaky clean either. It's
right.
I feel like Bad Religion at times can be a little too squeaky clean.
That's like my only complaint about their stuff is that it can be a little too produced.
But this is a nice kind of little midway section between, getting a little fuzzy, a little gruff, a little blurry into production, and being real clean about it. You can hear the instruments clearly.
Dude, Matt Freeman's bass. All his little... I'm like, fucking just, like, take me.
Dude, like,
can I just sit on the bass?
It's so good. I'm so glad that they have Axiom on here. And
Axiom's fucking
I think
sick,
Corruption
dude.
is another album where he's just fucking...
Yeah, I mean, Axiom, the fucking picking on the guitars and the bass on that song are just fucking insane. Just insanely fast.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, like you said, Corruption, fucking, what was another one that was just like, dude, the bass is insane on this one. I wrote it so many times. God damn. I don't know. I have a lot of notes.
I mean, there's a lot of good bass shit on here.
Yeah, the drums are exactly what you would expect them to be. It's great punk drumming, but nothing that's gonna like really stand out and make you like perk your ears up a little bit. But I would definitely say like the standouts on this record were the lyrics, the guitars, and the bass for me. Like Tim has a really cool way of like being really personal and like vulnerable with his lyrics. Like especially think about Indestructible, that whole album, like how personal that is. Think about And Out Come the Wolves, where he's basically just talking about day in the life of Tim Armstrong in so many of those songs. I love that he got a little more kind of outside of himself on this record and talked about all these like really interesting like media corruption and all this stuff and on this record. And what a perfect time too. Like I feel like the year 2000 was when like protest music started coming out again.
Sure. Yeah.
Thinking Arts like Bandits and all that shit.
I mean, when was Rage and like new metal kind of coming back? Is it around this era? It's a little after.
New metal, I would say this was like getting towards the tail end of new metal because chocolate flavored water or hot dog flavored water had already come out, and like Follow the Leader had already come out at this point, and so yeah, 2000 I think is when Renegades of Funk came out, or Battle of Los Angeles. So Rage was still very much doing fucking protest music since the early 90s. But I feel like it was like, once Bush came into office and all that shit, and after 9/11 and everything, it just blew up. And it was, I feel like this was a little ahead of the curve where they're calling out a whole bunch of bullshit on this record, and I appreciated it.
Well, do you wanna like focus on some songs, man?
I'm down, dude. I wanted to ask, what is your favorite Rancid album before we get into our favorite songs on this?
I mean, it's basic, but Out Came the Wolves is like, it's the first one I heard, right?
Yeah, same.
It's got all the hits on it, so it's gonna have a special place in my heart. There are some songs on Indestructible that I definitely come back to.
Oh, Indestructible I gotta say, And Out Come the Wolves is also my favorite because it's the first one I heard. It has all my favorite Rancid songs, basically, but very close second is Indestructible. I fucking love that album.
I mean, there was I think Fall Back Down was on Thug 2, Tony Hawk Underground 2.
Okay.
And we're having a chit chat sometime soon about the fucking Tony Hawk soundtrack.
The influence that soundtrack had on us, like getting us into punk. Yeah, that's a conversation waiting to be had for sure.
So yeah, Fall Back Down was on that album. Red Hot Moon was on Indestructible.
God, I love Red Hot Moon.
But like Time Bomb is like probably my favorite.
Black coat, white shoes, black hat, Cadillac.
Yeah.
The buzzer time, blah. Yeah. Ruby Soho is probably my all-time favorite by them, or Journey to the End of East Bay.
Maxwell Murder is the first time I ever heard anything
like that.
Yeah,
me and my friends loved Rancid so much in high school and college, and their favorite songs were never my favorite songs. Like their favorite songs were like Black Hawk Down and Poison was a huge favorite of theirs.
Really?
Yeah.
So they were all about this album.
They really loved this album, but I would say even more than this record, they liked Life Won't Wait, and I was never able to get into Life Won't Wait by Rancid. And I feel like that's another one I need to go back and check out again. Like, for some reason, it just never stuck with me.
And that's between Out Came the Wolves and this album.
Right. So
Okay.
that was a midpoint that I honestly couldn't even tell you what songs are on there. And for a band that I love so much, like, I've never really listened to that record since high school.
I mean, Rancid's got a lot of records, you know?
Yeah, they do. And I'd be down to check out, like, their... Because I know Brett Gurewitz is, like, producing all their new stuff, too. So I'd be down to check that out, man. But, yeah, let's get into some of our favorite songs on this album, dude. We've already mentioned quite a few, but...
Each episode, we choose 2 of our favorite songs on the record, and
AKA
we choose
our choice
20
nugs.
of our least favorite songs on the record.
We list all of our least favorite songs in order, in descending order.
We rank it, yeah.
Yeah, our 2 favorite songs, we call them choice nugs, and that's, I don't know. We've literally never explained what that means.
I don't know if you know this, but there is a faction that is actually anti-choice nugs, and they are pro-nar nugs.
Oh, yeah, see, and I think I know who's the leader of each party there.
Yeah, I think I do too,
because choice nugs is very much a weed reference for me. That's what me and my friend Bud used to call our favorite songs on an album, like way back in the day, like our choice nugs.
So that's got some history on it.
That has some history, man. That has some sentimental even value for me. And then you've done nar nugs ever since like we were in a band together, and that's what we called our fucking band playlist.
Well, that was all you.
Well,
that
true.
was your fault.
That's true.
And
yeah, see,
it caught
hoisted
on
by
to
my
me.
own petard. Once
it
again,
caught on to me like a fucking disease.
Yeah,
I caught it like a virus.
Crawled in there.
It just crawled into my brain
from the bottom up.
But regardless of what they're called, Lucas, what's one of your 2 favorite songs on this album?
All right. Well, we always like to mention our honorable mentions.
What
we like
do
to
we call
honorably
those?
mention other songs that we also enjoyed on this album.
Are those the honorable nugs or like the narnable?
Those are I'll call them the popcorn nugs.
Narnable nugs.
The narnable.
The narnable nugs.
The narnable nugs. Oh, that's gonna stick. I'm gonna go ahead and list my narnable nugs real quick,
Yeah.
and we mentioned them before. It's Quite Alright, Let Me Go, I Am Forever. Those are 3 like really great songs in a row. I love Rwanda. I thought the chorus was super catchy. Great bass work. I loved Radio Havana. I thought that was like one of the catchiest songs on the record, and definitely like the most pop punky song on the record. Love that. And Axiom, dude, it's fucking blew me away.
For obvious reasons.
For obvious reasons. And Young Capone, I'll admit. So there's a lot of songs that I liked on this.
All right.
But I will say my first choice nug, and this was like no fucking contest, was Poison.
Really? Poison?
Yeah. It was the first really fast song on the record that I like. That I really like.
The fucking 5 before this, you were like, yeah, take it or leave it.
Yeah, I mean, I had, it's Quite Alright, Let Me Go, and I Am Forever. Like, I Am Forever is a pretty fast song with another crazy bass line, but Poison is one that my friend Peter used to sing all the fucking time in high school, and they would imitate Tim's voice, and it's just like, this is another one that has a little bit of sentimental value for me, and I just think it's catchy as fuck, too.
Yeah, it's exactly as you said.
Yeah. Some people are poison. Dude, catchy is like definitely so good, and shows like Tim's songwriting, in my opinion. For as short as it is, it's just such a great punk song. The composition, the fucking bass line, Matt Freeman's bass is just like fucking like punching your eardrum like constantly, like one of those fucking bags or whatever.
Yeah, the little little back of the throat punching bag.
Yeah, my uvula.
Yeah.
Dude, I can't wait till I want to start doing that shit in my boxing classes, man. I want to fucking...
Dude, I've never figured those things out.
I think it's all rhythm. It's literally rhythm. But my boxing instructor like lives across the street from me, and he has one of those in his garage. So I know eventually we're gonna get there.
And so you go over every once in a while he's at home, and you just kind of practice on it.
Yeah, and then if he comes in, I just like I pretend I'm sleeping on the couch, and he's like chill about that.
He's cool with it.
He's used to me crashing in his garage.
Right.
Yeah. When the old ball and chain kicks me out. You know what I mean?
Yuck.
You know what I'm talking about?
In the doghouse, dude.
Fucking
you know
women.
what I'm fucking saying?
Yeah, oh man, she made me eat off the floor last night.
God, it's like sometimes, I just wish I could kiss men more. You know what I'm saying?
You know, no, I don't, but
It's weird. It's just like, ugh.
I feel like just things would be so much simpler.
Fucking.
I think everyone would just be way more accepting of me, and I think like life is easier that way.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like everything would, like all your problems would get solved.
Yeah. Every insecurity would just go out the window. Legit
Right.
though, legit. I've been saying this for years. I think dudes should be the ones wearing dresses, because yeah, dude. Like as a guy, it is so uncomfortable wearing jeans. Like when you have it's super uncomfortable for me to wear pants, like to cross my legs, and like it's a danger, honestly, to my well-being at times. And I'm thinking like I'm the one with fucking like equipment down there. Like I need to have a wide berth.
You gotta get like a skirt or something.
Dude, I mean, Christina got this like really nice flowy tie-dye, like super thin linen dress the other day. And it looks fucking amazing on her. And I was looking at it, I'm like, I would wear that. Like, I would wear something like that. Just out of pure, like, I would wear a fucking momo or a muumuu or whatever they're called. Those, like, house dresses. Like,
Yeah,
I'm
right.
talking about just pure, like, the loosest thing possible is what I'm looking for.
Dude, fucking why not?
Well,
Fucking why not?
I think I need, like, a caftan or something. Whatever those like, robes that they wear in like, Saudi Arabia and shit. That... they're like they're supposed to be like really flowy and airy and like comfortable to wear. I just need to get one of those, and just hopefully people don't think it's appropriation.
Maybe you just need to stop wearing like clothes.
Don't get me started, Ash. Clothes are the worst, even though I really enjoy them.
That is why I don't wear skinny jeans.
No, impossible.
I'm just not gonna do that. I'm just not dealing with it today.
I look like an idiot in skinny jeans. I look like my calves look like two pineapples like stuffed into a sock.
You're too fucking meaty. You get all the fucking people fawning over you whenever you go out.
I'm telling you, man.
Want to get some of those hams.
My calves are dangerous.
They've broken many a heart.
Yeah. I mean the veinage that's happening down there. The
you can see it through the jeans.
The what's it called? Like viscous? No, not viscous.
I think I know what you're
Ventricle?
talking about.
No.
Fistic.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. My legs have
Vernacular.
Yeah, my legs are very vernaculous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. And with that said, what is your first favorite song on this album?
Well, let me go through my honorable mentions first.
Oh yeah, your honorable mentions. I almost forgot.
My honorable
mentions. Yeah.
Don Giovanni. I thought it was a great song to start the album off on.
Explosive start.
Rwanda, I liked.
Great song.
Radio Havana is the catchiest song on the record.
Radio Havana.
Radio Havana.
Yeah, good song.
Axiom, obvious
Sick.
reasons. And I think it was funny how in Golden Gate Fields they had like all right, thank you all for listening. See you next time.
Yeah, I thought it was a fun song, albeit a kind of a weird one to end on.
Yeah, but I like that they did that in particular.
Yeah.
But my first nug is gonna be "Let Me Go."
Yeah, the
Correction,
classic.
I need no direction.
Yeah, very classic Rancid vibes on that one, man.
Yeah, I would say this is definitely from past albums.
Super mid-tempo.
Very mid-tempo, very easy for the bassist to kind of freestyle a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Super catchy chorus. One of the few 3+ minute songs on the record.
Yeah, because it's like mid-tempo, and they got to like actually write, a whole song.
They wrote like 2 or 3 choruses, and it's like, oh, well.
Yeah, they let the song breathe a little bit, which is all that I want my fucking downstairs to do. I just want it to breathe.
And there were a couple cool like mood changes on the song, not tempo changes, like when they break it down a little bit.
Yeah, the weird bridge.
For just a second.
That weird was bridge, but I liked it.
Yeah, I thought it was. Yeah,
kind of ska. Kind of like tricky ska.
Yeah, with like the echoes of dub, but like definitely not dub.
Definitely not. No, it was just very strange. But it worked in some weird way. I liked it.
I liked it too.
Yeah.
That's why it's my first Narna.
Well, all right. What's your fucking second one?
My second one comes right after. It's called I Am Forever. That is my second nug.
Oh, yeah. So the ones that we mentioned the most throughout the entire show were two of your
could you imagine?
I don't know how I didn't predict that. I'm like, I think you like Disgruntled and Corruption.
Yeah, those are probably. You think I like fucking Rattlesnake?
Yeah. Not to regret. Yeah.
But I thought it was such a cool like. This is the kind of song we were trying to make in Burn Ban. I love the vocal delivery on this one. It's a little more like shouty.
Lars's vocals are so good on it.
I'm forever ready to die. It's just fucking blast beat.
Yeah, now that you mention it, like I'm listening to it right now, I do hear it in what you guys were doing in Burn Ban. I could definitely hear it now.
Yeah, it's just a kind of like chaotic sounding riff.
Yo, shout out Burn Ban, man. Look them up on fucking Bandcamp and shit like that. Y'all's old stuff was awesome, dude. Like your album that came out like 2 years ago was great.
Thank you, man. I wish
really
we ever had good, like, I don't know. I wish we'd got someone to mix our record or something. Alejandro mixed it, and he did his best.
I thought it sounded great. That last exsanguation or something. What was it? Baptismal
regurgitation.
Yeah.
I thought that sounded good. Hyperdrenaline was a little less good.
I don't know. It was still like perfect for what you guys were playing. I mean, you're playing fucking hardcore punk, right? Like that's what you would call it.
Yeah. Just fucking hardcore punk.
Very similar to I Am Forever. Like I can hear it, for sure. I hear the influence.
So what was your second?
My second choice, Nug, man, it we've also mentioned it a few times, dude, and it's because I think it's super catchy and I love the lyrics a lot. It was Antennas.
Antennas. Wow, okay.
Yeah. I like that again, it's a short song, but they have moments. Like they have dynamics in it where they kind of quiet down the music a little bit, and he just does his little strums. The California fall to the fucking ocean, and then they bring it back and like get really loud with it at the end.
I would say if you had this song in the background, this song would definitely kind of perk you back up.
Yeah, for sure. And especially if you pay attention to the lyrics, like it you can get a deeper appreciation for like everything that he's talking about like advertising and marketing and fucking mass media, like news and stuff. And it's such a great. I think it's also because now I live in California that I'm still in that honeymoon phase. Yeah, I get it. Like I'm still in that honeymoon phase where it's like anytime California is mentioned in a song, I'm just like,
oh, that's me. That's how I've been with Seattle. When we were listening to Guitar Romantic, I was like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
That's where I am.
I know. And it's like I never cared when someone mentioned Austin or Texas. Ever.
I cared a little bit. I liked House of Pain.
House of Pain talked about Austin?
Jump around. Austin, jump around.
Oh, what is going on?
Well, they mentioned like 20
cities. Okay. So it's like that big pun song where he's like, Boricua, Morena, Dominicana, Colombiana, and they like just mention a bunch of different Latin American ethnicities.
It's like that. They're basically pandering, right? That's the part of the song. And when they're whatever city they're in, they sprinkle that city in, to get a little jump around.
Or like the Sublime song, like April 26th 1996, 1992 or whatever. Like, Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Cleveland, Ohio, Mountain Valley, Paramount, something, Eugene, Oregon. You don't know that song?
No, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Fucking Christ. All right, well, let's just get into our ratings then.
I guess so.
Ash, I will let you go first because I'm a gentleman and a really good friend, and I'm polite, and
a scholar.
And
I would say
I would never claim to be a scholar, but if you say so,
compassionate. You're empathetic.
I'm an
You're
old
very
soul.
Reasonable. You look at things from different points of view. You're very open-minded.
I'm altruistic.
Entrepreneurial.
Entreprenistic.
You're narcissistic.
Yeah. You can keep going if you want.
Yeah, you wear like cool hats. I like the hat with the chicken on it.
Yeah, the cock hat. Yeah.
Yeah, I like your shirt because I like that album. I like that you you collect vinyl, even though you're a poser.
Yeah. Yep. That honestly. You know, the OC's episode, we'll stop talking about it eventually, but
oh my god. No, I'm censoring this out.
No, don't, because it's funny to me because it kind of prompted me a little bit to want to listen to this album, because I'm just like, man, there are some punk albums that I really like, so like I'm gonna go listen to one that I'm not sure if I like it, like kind of challenge myself a little bit. Like I love Rancid, let me go listen to one of their albums that I never got into because it's very similar to that kind of OC's vibe a little bit. Just that kind of like, just, you know, fast hardcore punk. Like I would definitely say they're not similar records, but it's just kind of in the same vein, you know? And then the first like time that I listened to this album, getting ready for this recording, I got really worried because I was just like, oh no, this was kind of like this was kind of like me trying to show that I actually do like punk music. And I'm like, damn it, dude, like, I'm gonna hate this album, man. I'm gonna talk shit about another beloved, you know.
Then you
punk.
Shit all over a Rancid album, then it's like it's fucking over for us.
Then
like, we can't
really
go to
are,
any punk bars ever again.
Then it's never gonna seem like we're not trying to go against the grain ever again. You know, like fuck.
Like we shit on the OCs, we shit on Rancid, and there's like one more punk band I think that would like absolutely bar us from anything.
NoFX.
What
were you thinking?
You know, like I'm trying to think. Like, NoFX would probably be that third.
They're one of those like really respected punk bands.
Yeah,
but I feel like with a certain subsect of punk fans, it's like if I talk shit about Minor Threat, Gorilla Biscuits, the Casualties, Bad Brains, Black Flag, you know, like that era of punk that I honestly don't fucking like. Like if I talk shit about any of those records, like those guys are gonna fucking jump down my throat.
Because I fucking love those records and I'll jump down your throat.
Maybe we should listen to one on here because I honestly have never really given it much of a chance. Like, the biggest band for me of that era is Misfits. And I love them. I fucking love them.
We almost reviewed a Misfits
God
album
damn
one
it,
time.
but probably one of their least liked by any of their actual fans. Like, we were going to talk about Famous Monsters, and we did. And I used to love that record, and then I started hating it getting ready for the podcast, and then we fucking lost the episode. Didn't even get to put it out.
I absolutely despised it. I was giving fucking hot takes left and right.
Yeah,
and
you hated it.
My computer bricked.
Yeah.
With the episode still unedited on it.
Yeah, I mean, it might be a good thing that we lost it because I started hating the album as well, and I used to think that American Psycho and Famous Monsters were my favorite Misfits records, and then I'm like, oh god, like going back and listening to them, I'm like, what was I thinking?
Well, you know, we might listen to Damaged, Black Flag. We might listen to the first Minor Threat record. That was a huge influence to me. We already listened to we might listen Gorilla Biscuits.
Yeah, I never really listened to them.
But right now we're listening to
Rancid 2000. Let's go back.
What is this album again?
Rancid 2000 by the band Rancid from Berkeley, California.
The band Rancid 2000.
What are you gonna rate this, Ash? Let's get into it. Enough fucking lily gagging.
Enough lily gagging around.
We're trying to stretch this out. Just fucking give me the skinny.
We need the time for YouTube. YouTube loves those long videos with all the ads in it.
Monetize me.
As a general overview, this album, it's just a punk album, y'all.
Sure.
It's like a hardcore punk album. It's probably the hardest stuff Rancid has. There are moments of variety on here for sure, but that's the main focus. I would say people not into punk probably won't like this album. People into punk will like this album. You just kind of need to have that ear. You kind of need to have listened to punk a lot.
Sure.
I personally don't actually listen to punk albums that much, even though it's my favorite genre to play and to make music for.
I've been diving into my high school records for the last few weeks, and god damn it, I love it. It's good.
I mean, it's the perfect music when you need it.
It's so good. The old Rise Against and Bad Religion and No Effects. I've just been so into that shit lately.
But this album, it's minute-long songs for most of it. It does have that Rancid songwriting. There are moments when it can kind of lull and it can kind of get a little old.
Yeah.
The more you listen to it, the more I think you'll recognize the differences if you give it that chance.
For sure.
And so I'm gonna give this one a pretty moderate 6.4.
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
It's got some good moments on there. It's got some real catchy stuff on there, some real hard stuff that I like.
Yeah.
I think they could have cut out 4 or 5 songs, and I don't think anyone would have been the worse for it.
Right.
But hey, man, when you brought this up, I was worried, but it came out a lot better than I thought.
Yeah, no, 6.4 I can accept. I'm going to be higher than that for sure. Rancid is definitely one of my favorite punk bands of all time. The lyrics is what really stood out to me on this album. I really liked them. I loved all the shit that they were talking about, all the stances that they took on stuff. I pretty much agree with all of their stances that they took on every one of the topics that they brought up. And even though there wasn't a ton of that on this record, when it did come up and when their lyrics did get really deep and pointed, I really liked it. And I think Matt Freeman again we got to give him his roses for being probably the best punk bassist of all time.
It'd be hard to argue.
It'd be hard to argue that for sure. He's just continuously pushing what a punk rock bassist should strive to be, and showing everyone how it's done. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I think one thing that you can definitely objectively say about this record is it is probably, at least up until this point in their career, their most consistent musically and thematically throughout the whole thing.
If that's a good or a bad thing for you.
Whether that's a good or a bad thing, right? It could be one or the other. They used to have a lot more ska reggae thrown into their stuff before this, and a lot poppier stuff. But god damn it, they stuck to their guns. They showed people that they have legit hardcore punk chops, and they can focus that energy into an entire 22 song album. That to me proves something. And they did it, and I love the attitude, and I think they pulled it off. I enjoyed this a lot more than I expected. Genuinely liked the first 2/3 of the record a lot, and the last third kind of fell off a little bit for me, but I got a little fatigued by the end, every time I listened to it. But
sure,
god damn it, I bet there are a lot of people who fucking love this album, although it has its peaks and valleys for me, and I think this album definitely deserves to be someone's favorite Rancid record, because I thought it was, whether I enjoyed it as much as some other people or not, I can still recognize it's a fucking great album. So in terms of my enjoyment, my subjective rating for this is going to be a 7.6.
And what were you going to rate it when you first heard it back in 2001?
Oh, dude, I would have given it a fucking, I think I only liked Poison back then. That was the only song I liked back then. And so I would have given it a fucking 1 probably, just to be a total asshole 14-year-old,
right.
But yeah, I mean, it's definitely I've the older you get, and especially with the access of music that I have now with Spotify and all the streaming shit, I've gotten into so much different stuff since I was 14 that my tastes have changed enough that I can go back to this and really enjoy it. So 7.6, man.
All right, man. Well, thank you all for listening. Thank you for watching. Thank you for downloading. If you're doing that, you can check us out on YouTube. We are wherever you find podcasts.
Yes.
We are on Instagram at EBPcasts. Look up Earbuds Podcast. You're going to find us somewhere. We got some links in the description.
Rate our podcast anywhere you can rate it. Fucking give our videos a thumbs up. Give us a subscribe everywhere that you can. Tell your friends about us because we have at least 100 episodes in our back catalog that you guys can dip into. We, I think by this point, should have a Patreon running, so check that out too. Check out our Patreon. We have some cool like exclusive content on there as well. And we want to know what you guys think about this album, what you guys think about Rancid. Like, we love to hear y'all's opinion on what you guys think of this record and whether you agree with us or not, man. So let us know. And Ash, what would you rate this episode?
Oh, I'm going to rate this episode a fucking 5 out of 2,000, baby. Hell yeah.
I like that. I'm going to rate this episode. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm going to rate it a 2,000 out of 5.
Okay.
I'm going to switch it up on you because apparently you hated it. So that makes me feel fucking great. Yeah, think about your rating for this episode real quick. As I say goodbye to the buddies, goodbye watchers and listeners and friends
out of
and
2005 is not actually
and
a
so
lot.
we'll see you next time. Next week we're going to be talking about
weird how,
Chance
some
the Rapper's album, Acid Rap. Make sure to listen to Acid Rap before you listen to the next episode. Thank you so much for listening.
Lucas, isn't it weird how some
Ash,
numbers can
this
be?
was good.
This is good.
Bye. Bye-bye.
I think it's just weird that we made